Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reels and Wheels, where I am, in fact, not Reels and Wheels, but I am his mother. And today I am so excited because I have the core four. And if you have been following, you know the core four are Cameron's four very best friends: Derek Anderson, Blaine Farr, Noah Smith. And in the state of Iowa, we have Braden Lampkin. So, welcome, everybody. So, let me ask you, what is a song that makes you think about Cameron? Because Cameron was all music all the time. So, Braden, what I think I'm going to know the answer to this, and it's probably going to be the same answer with all of you. But, Braden, what's a song that makes you think about Cameron?
Smoking Section by Jelly Roll.
Imagine that.
I don't know. I mean, for me,
there's a dozen, 3 dozen.
Sure.
Every song, there's almost a reason. It's
Right.
like
But
shit,
every time
especially
you
new
send me a
music.
video or a snap, that's what's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it makes you think of them. Yeah. So, Jay, what were you saying?
well, for me personally, it's more broad. It's definitely like the Nashville rap scene.
Oh, yeah, because he was so big
That's
into
one thing
that.
that me and him bonded on.
Yeah.
Is because like Noah, Noah was not really big into that kind of rap music
Right.
and whatnot, and Blaine liked some of it, but me and Cameron, if it was just me and him hanging out, that's all we really listened to.
Yeah.
So
that's how we found out about Jelly, right?
yeah,
And Tuck and
Yeah,
615.
exactly. Because that's
Yeah.
what me and him would do is we would
Right.
look up local artists and we would listen to any local artist under the sun. We would find ones we liked and didn't like and whatnot.
Did you do that because you thought maybe there's a chance of meeting them, or just I want to support local, or what was your
It was
reason?
more support.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing about Cameron. He was a very supportive person.
Oh, no doubt.
With
Yeah.
Tuck, Cameron supported him. Always shared his music, and whenever
Sure.
he would be with him, he would always encourage him and whatnot. But any kind of Nashville rap, really, it really just kind of puts me in my feels about Cameron. Because that's the one thing that me and him always did together. Anything, and it could be like Tuck, but it just any Nashville rapper because we listened to it all. Exclusive Fredo, whoever it may have been. But all of them, anytime I hear any of their music, I think of Cameron now, and it's just because of what we would listen to together. Because when it was just me and him, that's all we listened to.
No, yeah, I've reached out to Fredo Ruthless as well as 615 to try to, because those were on Cameron's list.
Yeah.
But y'all went and saw you, and I think you two and Cam went to see Mexican OT.
Yeah.
And who I had no clue who it was, and it was very fitting that y'all went to a Mexican restaurant to watch a show. So like.
Yeah, but that's what I would say. Just any local rap, really.
Yeah. What about you?
It's kind of broad, like Jarek said, but for me, it's not really like this journey. Since Cam's passed, it has been heartbreaking and sad. But I try to find more positivity in it, in the fact of knowing he's not in pain and different things. So like when Tuck comes to mind, because there was hundreds of times I'd walk in the house and I'd hear Cameron singing one verse to one of his songs.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner, he played that over and over.
Talking about the street life, even though none of us knew about it. We would act like it.
Blaine coming from the suburbs.
Yeah. And, it was just always like, even when it came to Jelly Roll, it was all like a big one that like sticks with me was Jelly Roll has a new song called Winning Streak. And for me, like sobriety was never really a thing until I had to face it. And what I mean by is, Cam always supported that, and the fact that, and when he shut, when I started listening to that song, it just made me realize that, and for a long time, me and Cameron, all we ever really did was partake in vitamins.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But then I realized there was more to that when I got sober.
Yeah.
Cameron didn't care about that. I couldn't, and he would always respect.
And he would always worry about that.
Always like Braden said, Smoking Section was, and that was the first time I ever heard that song was with Braden and Cameron. And, but with Cam, it was always, his music taste would be different. One minute we'd be listening to a sad song.
It was eclectic, no doubt. Yeah.
And then the next minute, Lil Baby would pop on. And then it was always like different. Like the vibe never stayed the same, but it was always, I remember it to this day. He had this little boombox speaker that was probably 2 foot tall.
Yeah.
Hey man, will you turn my speaker on? And we'd turn it on and the thing would get loud. And Miss Kendra would get pissed it was so loud. And Cam didn't even care. We'd turn it down for a second and then turn it right back up. Music was just, I feel like it's a big thing, like you said, that Cam wasn't always able to do things like all of us. It was just more so music was kind of an escape for him.
Sure, no doubt.
Yeah. Him go to a different place that he would not only be able to go, just sitting there doing nothing. So it was just always, and that's kind of like for me, you know, it turned in for me like music was a big venue. You know, it was every single day. You know, and Braden's the same way on the fact of they'll get on Apple Music or Spotify, YouTube, whatever they find it on, and they will send us a song. We're all in a group message, and Cam would send it to me, and then he'd send it to the group message. So I know all the guys got it sent individually.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, sometimes you'd be like, man, I probably wouldn't listen to that. And then some of the songs that I still listen to this day are by Braden and Cameron by just sending them random.
No, no doubt. And now I love that, you know, that you guys in our group, you know, we have a group chat, you know, called Cam's Core 4, and we all send music, you know, and that was Braden sent, you know, he's the one who introduced me to the song really, I think it's called Really Gone by Russ and Jelly Roll, which I love Russ, and then anything with jelly is just phenomenal. So what about you? Is there a song?
The again smoking section, like always. And the one I catch myself listening to a lot that was from Fast and Furious 7, I think, that Charlie Puth wrote.
Yes. And Wiz Khalifa did with him.
I've been listening to
That's a phenomenal song.
But it's, I mean, outside of country music, Cameron couldn't stand country music.
No, I think Struggle Jennings and Jelly were probably the closest to country he got.
He liked Upchurch.
Upchurch and Yellow Wolf.
But he didn't really like Upchurch, like real country stuff.
Sure.
You know, he liked his country rap stuff, but Cameron wasn't a country fan by any means.
No.
Because that's my music taste is definitely developed because of Cameron.
Sure.
You know, I was at that age where I listened to a lot of music my whole life, and I grew up on classic rock and metal from my father. But everything else that I listen to is because of Cameron.
Yeah.
And it's literally everything. Because he's the one who showed me all the music that I listened to. I was never one to really go look for new music.
Yeah.
But like Blaine said, you know, he made sure you got new music. He was one to be like, hey, did you know that so-and-so's album came out today? I had no idea. You know, I'm not really on social media or anything like that. I don't really keep an eye on who's releasing what. But Cameron made sure that I got all the new music. You know, that's one thing now that's today that, you know, I don't really see a lot of the new music's coming out now because I don't have Cameron send it to me. So I got to do diligence to go physically look because I do like to listen to that stuff. But Cameron was always my guy to hook me up with, like, hey, what do I listen to on this?
And then you put it on Snapchat. And you're like, I'm missing my best friend. I'm like, how are you doing that to me?
Yeah,
like, I would never listen to the Arctic Monkeys or whoever the hell you're putting up there. And I'm like, but I know, you know, it helps me to know why.
Yeah, it really is all the music I listen to. Anything I post on my story because I'm feeling like that. It's all because it's one of those things. Music, you know, you associate music and smells and whatnot to a certain situation or time, or whatever. And the music I listen to, I associate with Cameron.
Right.
You know, so anytime I listen to music when I'm working, that Cameron's always on my mind.
Yeah,
you know?
that was my best friend sent me "Give Heaven Some Hell" by Hardy.
Okay.
And we the day that Cam passed, I think she gave it to me. And I remember thinking, I don't know who Hardy is. I have no clue. But that song has, hands down, I listen to that song probably once a day. Because I love that song because it just describes Cameron.
Yeah.
You know, Cameron getting to heaven. So
it came on shuffle for me the day he passed.
Really? Yeah. She sent it to me and I was like, and she had went to that concert and she said, I'm convinced now that that I went to that concert just so I could hear that song so I could share it with you. So what is your individual favorite memory with Cam, Braden?
Him being the best man at my wedding.
Oh, now you're gonna win. That's that
it's a hard one to beat.
Yeah, I can remember him being in the ICU, Braden, and him having me type that out because he wrote that thing, and he was like, "I don't think anybody's expecting me to give a speech." And then he gave a speech, and I don't think anybody expected the speech to go the way it did. Because then nobody could give a speech afterwards. And they're like, how do you top that? How do you follow that?
No, I'm nervous to ever give a speech in my life because of that. That's a high standard to have. Yeah.
Change the words and make it Cameron's speech. Like we can sell the template. Copyright. That's right. What about you, Jay?
For my
is it because when Cameron was Braden's best man?
No, it's I always reminisce about our breakaway experience and stuff we had with Cameron.
Oh man, yep.
That's a music festival,
yes,
right?
It's a music festival. That was a really, really good day for all of us, I think. I think about that a lot.
2 days.
Currently, it might seem cliche, but it's probably now probably the last time I saw him, just because I got to hang out with him
You did, yeah. You
the
before
day
he
before.
the Saturday before you and Tay were here for
Yeah,
the
we got to
fight.
watch. We got to watch that UFC event, and it was a really good event. And I got like Cameron was just really digging it. Is the best way to put
Yeah.
it. Because like I like Noah was saying, he was in pain and whatnot, and he just came out of the hospital after being in for so long. And,
Yeah, 30 days.
So that was his first taste of like just hanging out with his friend and having a good time.
Yeah, with the trach.
Yeah, so that night was very memorable to me. Because that's one thing that I had that they weren't as fortunate to get to experience as having that last day with Cameron like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that last night.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, don't start crying. We're not gonna do that. I can't. Well then before I go on to anybody else, let me ask you, Jay, could you tell a difference in Cam that day?
He did. He was more spunky, I guess way to put it.
Yeah.
That's why it really does suck, because he did seem like he was in good spirits. It did seem like he was looking forward to the future.
Sure.
He was. Stuff was different now. He had a lot more medical equipment and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he did seem optimistic. Seemed like he was excited to be with his friends again and whatnot. So I mean, he did seem like he was very up.
Right.
Day,
yeah. The reason I asked that is because I really do think that Cam knew his time was limited.
Yeah.
Just because of things he did, things he said. Like they always, and I hate to relate it to this, but they always say that animals know when they're going to pass, and that they will either get, like Camille. We think about Camille. Camille was 14 years old when she passed.
Yeah.
And the day she passed, she was like super, having the zoomies. And so I just always wondered and I don't think I ever asked you if he seemed different to you that day, because he seemed different to me, but for different reasons.
Yeah, no, he seemed more joyful. He really did.
Like he had peace.
Yeah, and that's the best way to put it. I mean, I don't know, because we all knew his time was limited.
Sure.
He
was already well past his expiration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was sooner than later, regardless.
Right.
Everybody knew that. I don't know if he knew that. I don't think he knew that he was going to pass away that night or that morning. I don't think that was in his book.
Right, clearly, yeah.
But I do think that he accepted his situation, knew he was in bad health, and he knew that he didn't have much longer.
Right.
Which is why he was so upset with like me and Blaine not being friends and stuff. Because like he said at the end, was all he really wanted was just for his friends to be friends and his friends just to hang out, because I think he knew
that's all he wanted.
That's the only thing he had left in life.
Yeah, he was worried about that. Cam pass. I hate to say this, and I say it at least once a week. Cam passing was probably the best thing that happened to a lot of situations. It got his father to open his eyes and quit drinking and really focus on being a parent. It got Kristen back in my life. It brought you two back together. And whereas Noah was sometimes out of it during the week because Noah worked nights, it brought y'all all back closer together, even if it was just on text.
Yeah.
So, I don't even remember what my initial question was. Oh, your individual memory. Blaine, what about you?
A few pop out for me, but kind of like Jarek said, that last memory with him where he was still.
Did you come over that day?
Okay. Mom was in the hospital with him because like there was numerous times in the hospital because for me, like during the week.
You mean that during that 30-day?
Yeah, because there was a few different times, but like that last time he was in, me and him were talking, and I've never really been like a crazy emotional person unless I was by myself. But when I was with Cam, we got to talking, and it was, at the time, you get into it with people in your life. Me and Jarek were into it, and me and Braden were, kind of having, problems here and there as buddies. And Cam, basically told me, just like I said, you don't know what you got left, and having that heart to heart with him really, like Jarek said, he knew what was coming. He didn't know when. And he was kind of at that point to where he didn't really worry about himself anymore.
Right.
His main worry always was with Kendra and the fact of, make sure my mom's good. And that's what, like I told him in the hospital, and I know he heard me in the fact of don't worry about your mom when we got her.
Right.
Because he knew it was coming, but, for that, like just realizing that, having that talk with him, because it was the same, we talked about sports, we talked about, life going on, whatever. And then, but it was always Cam always made it about you. He always made it about the other person. So he's asking me how I'm doing. He's asking me how my family is, how my girlfriend's doing.
Yeah.
And different things. But like one that sticks out to me, and I don't know why, and it always has. There was a night Cam loved sports betting. He loved
trust me, I know. I had to hold the phone up while he looked.
Even if he lost money, he didn't care. We were here one night, and it was when Sean O'Malley beat Aljamain Sterling for the belt. And we didn't think we would get to watch it, but then Jarek got his ESPN working or something. We were able to watch it.
Was this on Cam's birthday when he got drunk?
No.
Okay, got it. Okay.
We were able to pay for it, and Cam won I think it was $250.
We all won.
Yeah, Jarek
Noah
won.
won the most of them.
Noah won, and because me and Braden didn't bet, but all three of them won, and Cam was so ecstatic he was like, because he was like, dude, it could have been $5. He was like, I called it, because he's like, I called it second round knockout. Yada,
yeah, that's what Noah bet on.
It was always just with with us, and a big memory that always sticks out to me is I'd walk in this house. And I could have a shit day, I could have a good day, and Cam would have the biggest smile on his face.
Yeah.
And he would always say something. Yeah, talking shit. What you doing, asshole? And it's like, damn, all the words just kind of I knew I would have at least a few hours of just hanging out with Cam. And that was the thing, is you come in here summertime, sun don't go down till 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'd come in here at 4:30, 5 o'clock, be here until 10 o'clock, and I'm like, damn, it's crazy. And then you look at him and be like, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. He's like, you know where I'll be.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, dude. And it was, it was always, I don't know, there was obviously a lot of sad memories, but there's so many memories that just pop in. It's hard, like that night that we went to the OT concert. We didn't even get to see Mexican OT because rappers, run on late time.
Oh yeah.
So
super late.
he was supposed to play at 9 o'clock, and it got to 11:30.
Yeah.
And Jarek drove himself. He's like, dude, I got to go home.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it home. I was intoxicated. So Noah came and got us. And,
I forgot about that.
It was Cam was pissed. We were all pissed we didn't get to see OT, but we also got to meet other rappers.
Sure.
It was a concert. It was where other people up and coming could be there.
Right. And you were going there for Tuck, right? Because Tuck was performing.
Yeah, that's why we went.
And that was Cam's biggest thing, like Jarek said, of supporting people. So he found out people he got to post and did new music. And it was you could write a book with the amount of memories we all have.
No doubt. What about you, Noah? You have one specific?
No, not one specific. There's too many where we just went to too many places.
Yeah.
I guess mine would just be, I know we've already talked about it, but mine would just be when we got to go backstage and meet Jelly Roll.
Sure.
Just getting to meet Jelly Roll, getting to go on that road trip with the four of us, me, Jared, Braden, Cameron. That was just great.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now we could talk, now that he's gone, we could talk about the embarrassing things. Where were you going when you had to help him use the bathroom and something happened?
Oh Lord.
Were you at this, Braden?
It was Braden.
Yep, me, Blaine, Noah, and
We're on the way to the Happy Store in St. Louis.
Said the happy story. Okay, for Cameron.
Cameron had to piss.
Right. Okay. And you were the only person who had ever helped him as far as the friend group goes.
Yes, out of the friend group, I was the only person that ever helped him use the bathroom. Not number two, always number one. I drew a line, very specific line.
I drew a line.
Very, yes.
I don't know. Josh Cotner helped him with number two, so there you go.
Really?
Yeah. Different story for a different day.
Cameron really had to pee, but we were nowhere near gas stations, so we had to pull over. And
like on the interstate or something?
I think we pulled off on an off ramp or on an on ramp. Got it. And Jared or Blaine and Braden, being the two dumbasses that they are, they're just in there joking around. They step out. They open up the door at one point, and they're like,
Braden said, "Can you hold it for me?"
No. He said, "Are you done jerking him off? We'd like to get to the Happy Store already." And that made me laugh, and which made the urinal move. And then Cameron was also laughing, and so then Splash, which I was pissed for a little bit. I was, shut the fuck up.
So basically what you're saying is it's Braden's fault.
Oh, 100%.
Clearly.
Yeah, 1,000%. But it's funny memory, Luckily we had baby wipes,
We almost went to Walmart and got them clothes.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
It didn't get on the clothes.
Thankfully, we got it.
Yes.
There you go. That's so, but you know what? It's funny because it makes me think about when the kids and I went to Chicago, and I was falling asleep. I was driving. Kendall's in the very back. We always put her in the back because she had the shortest legs. So the rental van we had was, and Noah helped us load it up, is the doors open on both sides. But on one side was all the medical equipment, the lift, the toilet, everything. And then on this side was Cameron. So I tell Kendall, I've got a nap. I got to do something. We had just, made it to Indiana, but we had also been in Chicago all day. We didn't leave till like 4 o'clock. So she's like, okay, I'll drive. So I get out and I go around back. And when she says, Cameron goes, I'll get out. She's like, no, you don't have to. I'll climb over the wheelchair. So she throws one leg over the wheelchair. And when she does, her ass hits the button to close the door. But then her ass hits the button to open the door. So back and forth, it just keeps going. And she's laughing. Well, I get so tickled and I'm standing outside the passenger door where Dylan is. I get tickled and I start peeing my pants. And then I laugh harder, and then I am pissing everywhere, all over the interstate. And Dylan looks at me, and Cameron goes, you're not getting back in this fucking car. He said, you need to change your clothes. So finally, Kendall gets out. She comes around. I have to get naked on the interstate and change my clothes before they allow me back in the car. So I was like, really? Okay, I see how it is. Okay.
He would have done the same thing.
No doubt. Did you ever have to protect Cameron because someone was being ugly to him or mean or anything, Braden?
Nothing really comes to mind.
Okay. Because I guess I did all that. Because I'd cuss a fool out quick. What about you, Jay?
Nothing too serious.
Sure.
But there was one kid in school, Josh Hill, I believe his name was.
I was gonna say, put him on blast. Yeah.
And he didn't pick on Cameron, but he always would hop on his chair and whatnot to ride around. So
which Cameron did not.
No,
but you had to put your time in as his friend to do that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You had to ask. You can't just jump on.
Right.
So there was an instance where I had to say something to him in
Really?
Cameron's defense, but it was nothing serious. But Cameron was never one to be bullied or anything like that.
Right. Sure. Cameron was a cool dude.
No,
so
he
yeah.
was cool. And I don't know for sure just because it's my perspective of how I perceived everybody. But in my opinion, a lot of people, knew Cameron.
Yeah.
But a lot of people gave Cameron his space. Like they didn't dislike Cameron, but they didn't like him. They just kind of let him be, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Yeah.
So he wasn't really messed with. He wasn't made fun of by any means in that sense. And I would have always stood up for him if that was the case.
Sure.
But as far as Cameron goes, he didn't really have any issues with people picking on him or anything like that. So not really.
Sure. Okay. What about you, Blaine?
The way I saw it was there was never any physical altercations that really took place, but Cam would you didn't really have to say anything. Cam would kind of do it on his own. He was quick to fuck.
He was an asshole at times.
Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
But one that sticks out to me, we went to eat at a place locally here called Catch 22, and his mama's boss at the time came in, and the guy was, treated Cameron normal, but Cameron's thing he hated the most was when people would talk to him like he was a child.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, buddy was buddy was the worst word you could use.
And that was the thing. All of us called him buddy, but we call each other buddy.
Exactly.
What's up, bro?
You're not saying it in a condescending way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not with the baby voice. Hey, buddy.
He did that. His wife got down and was like, hey, buddy, how's it? And the funniest thing to me is Cam, must have been off of vitamins or something. He didn't care at the time. Cam he was like, dude, people do it all the time. But Miss Kendra was lit.
Oh my God. Pissed me off.
He's a grown man.
And that was the thing of Cam never, so in that sense, Miss Kendra always kind of said something. But for us, it was like Jarek said, we would stick up for him if we needed to.
Yeah.
But people kind of knew Cam's just going to say it himself. If he don't like something, he's going to tell you.
And if Cam doesn't do it, his mom will.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
Just thankfully, like Jarek said, nothing ever came about that.
Right. Yeah.
But, there's definitely been times we've all been out, and I know every single one of us have been somewhere, and somebody's been staring, and you're like, take a photo.
You would have just you would have stared back.
Take a fucking picture.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've never seen a fucking wheelchair before? It's like,
dude, I'm telling you. What about you?
Oh no, there were a lot of instances
where there, I know. I'm sure the Titans.
There are Titans games, but the one that probably sticks out, I can't remember, because when we were in high school, I can't remember who the football team was playing, but we were at a Mount Juliet football game, and after the game, he was standing. I was standing outside, and he was sitting there with me because we're waiting for his dad to come pick him up.
Right.
And the other team had lost. They were just kind of pissed. A couple students were walking away, and they just said something smart to Cameron. And I can't remember exactly what was said, but I can't even remember what I said. But I just remember basically telling him to shut the fuck up.
Right. Sure.
Leave,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like walk away, da da da.
Right.
And but multiple times of being at Titans games, telling people to move because they're ignorant,
Drunk.
stutter stepping, like don't know what to do because
That's
just,
they panic.
and then
Yeah.
turn into a concrete pillar.
Yeah. They're like a statue all of a
Sitting
sudden.
there, it's like,
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Fuck out of the way, and
Yeah.
a lot of instances like that, but not because anyone was other than that football game. Nobody was ever, I guess, derogatory.
Sure. Or outwardly mean. Yeah. No,
it
totally.
was just more having to call out people's ignorance,
Right.
and like telling you to like move. Or,
Yeah.
you
No
know,
doubt.
things like that. Probably.
So I can't wait for this answer.